you guys, I really want to change that up. Like, just side note, by the way, sorry if you're brand new, but like, sometimes these things happen on this channel. We're all like, noodle something. And I noticed like so many channels like, hey guys, hey guys. Like, oh god, I'm so bored of saying that. Yes, divine sight. So what can I say? Be like, what up, muggles? Muggles? Muggles, or like, Yow, lava. I don't know. I'm gonna have to noodle it. I'm gonna have to noodle it because I'm really getting bored of being like, hey guys, it's MJ. So today's share came through actually yesterday when I was pondering feelings. I never ponder feelings. I'm like amazed now. Because I was thinking about, how we're kind of programmed or bombarded with this idea of hi Lindsay Lightworker, how are you? Okay, so we're programmed with this idea of like success as a certain condition, lots of money, family, community, what have you, and that's great. Wonderful. And yet some of us are falling short, right? Most of us, why we end up here, I would say, is that you resonate with this idea of like following the rules to a certain degree to the best of your ability. And deep in your heart core of love hot vibration, you could not abide. Like, you couldn't ultimately survive in a certain type of relationship. You couldn't survive in, and here's the weirdest thing is that for a lot of us, I'll speak for myself, but the weird paradox is like the times where my life might have looked like the best was probably when I was in the deepest suffering inside myself, where now I don't know that there's any firm condition or circumstance in my physical reality, but I'm happier than ever, like inside myself. And it's par for the course when you're doing this work. It's that you are elevating yourself, and so there is reward. It's just apparently, according to the 3D world, it's weird and it's different, and not many people endeavor it. Hey, Chewbacca! You missed nothing. Because you are everything already, Chewbacca. Jeez! Okay, I guess the catch and release feeling was like this idea of like our attachment to stuff, and how for me the practice, like forgiveness, non-judgment, letting go, these are quote unquote practices, but to me they're states of being. We can either be in a state of forgiveness or the other. We can either be in a state of letting go or the other. And catch and release to me is just a way of being. Like catch it, release it, catch it, release it. Like, especially it's relevant. I have memories of going fishing when I was a little girl before turning vegetarian. And I found it really uncomfortable, obviously, to like hurt the worms when you're putting the bait on, and then like hold the fish. Yeah, it becomes impossible. Well, I think the idea as well, like increasing transparency means there's actually nothing to like attach to, in a sense. Yeah, and I always found it hard, like holding the little fishies down, like watching them gasping for air. I found that troubling and uncomfortable. Hence, like, can we put it back, Dad? Please, can we put the fishy back, please? Like, because you're a little kid, you're like, it's gonna die, like, I don't want it to die. So release it. Like, I know, right? Like, let it back. And then you're like, oh, thank goodness, like, we don't want the little creature. And, like, now I'm thinking, weird, like, we would have gone fishing and just caught fishies, punctured their fucking mouth because they cooked the bait, and then let it go because it was too small or it wasn't worthy of our barbecuing it or whatever. Which, okay, whatever. I get, fair enough. I have family members who hunt as well, so yeah. I guess that's the reminder of like, we grew up in these sort of demographics, which really shaped us as people, you know, like seeing dead deer carcasses in the back of pickup trucks was a definite like moment of I can't do that. I couldn't take that creature's existence from it. Like so I don't eat the flesh of the creatures. So, and that's, you were saying that, weren't you, of like, you can't hold on anymore, right? So it's like, hello, Andrea, hello. So the idea of letting go is a state of being, right? The idea of catch and release is a state of being like, hi, and then let it go, hi, let it go, right? Which is, it's again, no different than thought. It's like all this practice, I think perhaps sometimes people feel that I might be really attached to these things I say, or that I might be saying it from some sense of commanding authority, like listen to me or else. But that's not at all what's going on. This is just like verbal diarrhea spewing out of my heart space. But no, it's not verbal diarrhea. It's definitely not verbal diarrhea. It's more like it's more like splashings of stardust. Yeah, like splashings of just like like it's meant to inspire, but some people might get a bit annoyed by the stardust, right? They might be like, fucking shit, light is in my eye, and you're like, I'm like, oh, it's a bit hot, or I don't know. I digress. The whole point of this share, ultimately, the idea of the catch and release is being in the state of being, which is the new paradigm to me, which is the paradigm shift. It's the new way of being, is being in the present and feeling all the feelings and being present with all the feelings from a place of self-responsibility, which means we're all self-responsible. We're all responsible. And my feelings are ultimately totally my own and part of my own creative elixir. Hence how I can know and understand from within my own field how to transform the darkness that exists within us. And then the more we do that, the less darkness we perceive around us, and or certainly the less we attract it into our reality in the form of deception, betrayal, and manipulation. Instead, we suddenly start attracting actual nice people who genuinely want to help you and be kind and not manipulate across the nation. Ooh, that is quite, yes, that's fairly cool. That's like the creatures in their element, right? Is it, right, is it this one? Or is it like this one? I know, sometimes the hair, actually, Andrew, it's funny you mentioned the hair, because I'm going to dye it today. I'm going to go full platinum blonde. No, I'm not. I'm just joshing. I'm just going to add in, anyway, look at me talking about, so catch and release, and this is a science lesson, you guys. This is a science lesson in manifestation, okay? So this is like, you know, we talk about all the spiritual stuff, we talk about manifestation. A lot of people seem to leave out the whole deep feelings and karmic backlog thing. Epigenetics. This is about healing our cellular body from ancestral lines. It's scientific. It's been proven. We're carrying the genes of our ancestors, okay? And that's where, in the book, that's where karmic backlog comes in. It's not just the present moment that we're reacting against. We're reacting against a backlog of accumulative stress patterns that we've been suppressing for generations. Hence, and I'm aware that different generations are carrying more backlog, and some aren't going to touch that. They'll exit the body and they'll come back clearer, which is fine. This is where the earth is going, right? But the younger children, and even from my standpoint, the ones who are like mid to late 80s, they're even clearer, karma speaking. They're not carrying the same amount of backlog, okay? So they have a deeper sense of manifestation and connectivity already, and they're already less connected to old paradigm energies. They're just not carrying, and that's part of the benevolence, and also the I guess like the miracle of paradigm shift is like anytime we think we're doing it, like, oh yeah, I'm like doing, and I do, and we talk like that, right? We all talk because we have a function. We know intuitively there's an alignment. There's a function in our beingness here, and so we want to align with that. But anytime that MJ would be like, no, see, ultra love is very important for the paradigm shift, like, like that's not legit. That's That's like ego, I guess, just proclaiming to be important versus like heart, love, vibrashe. Being like how to keep living in this dynamic, loving flow, how to keep sharing from this space in unison with other, right? Hi, Leanne, how are you, my friend? So that's essentially what we're doing. Oh yeah. Oh, and like the point of this was really the fact that in my awareness, the deeper the feelings, the more expanded the awareness becomes. So it's one thing to sit around in circle and like talk about this stuff, but if people aren't doing the inner work, the lives won't shift. Their energy will not expand. They will not access the greater awareness. It's just par for the course, right? Like you can't, if you were to put a pillar in a foundation and only put it down here, then the building's gonna fucking fall over, right? If you want to create something with a firm foundation and with stability, you need to put those pillars really quite far down deep. You have to be rooted really, really deep, i.e., be able to feel the fullness of your container of existence and not just sort of go, oh, I don't want to like deal with that, so I'm not going to look at that. Well then, okay, but if you can't look at that depth of darkness, then you're not going to be able to create the expanse of your light. You're not going to be able to see the fullness of your expansion if you're not willing to penetrate the depth of your consciousness field. And again, it's right there staring you in the face in the form of scary news stories, in the form of what have you, in the form of our financial collapse and disparity. It's visceral, it's in us, we feel it, we get the bank letters, we get the and we can either go fucking banking or like, wow, what is this energy, what is this bringing up? Usually a whole bunch of unworthiness bullshit and a bunch of it's not bullshit, it's relevant for what it is, right? Unworthiness, not enoughness. I mean, the not enoughness wound, the unworthiness wound is just essentially like what drives the economy, in my awareness anyway. Like this deep throbbing ache in the heart of humanity of not being enough is ultimately what keeps the system going in that regard. Hence, like, it's up to us to make each other like genuinely not make, because that feels like we have to do something, but it's more like be love for each other, like genuine. And I testify to it. I can see the difference when you meet somebody with loving presence. Like good shit happens, healing happens. And again, it's never it doesn't happen when you're coming from a headspace. It doesn't happen, healing doesn't happen when you come from a place of control. Dare I say, for the most part, that's what that's a lot of really what our modern medicine does. It just puts a band-aid on. I mean, well, yeah, that's what it does. It puts the band-aid on, but what's healing truly? The body is healing the wound. I just realized that. Yeah, I'm like, the band-aid might slightly protect it, but it's always the body. It's always the self healing. It's just so obvious sometimes, these things to me. It's so obvious, this perspective. And I know that you feel that. Like, I'm getting that more. People being like, you're saying things that I've thought a lot of time. And like, that was an intuitive knowing as well. So yeah, basically the deep feelings are super important to feel. Hi Melvin, how are you? Yes, I feel all of that. Yeah, Andrea. So yeah, essentially it's just the fact of like, the deeper we go, the more we expand. The more present and silent we are, the more we notice things, the more we can pay attention. Like, I sometimes am reminded it is there in the mind, in our thoughts, in our beingness, in the wholeness of in our sensing relationship. That's our manifestation tunnel. That's our manifestation gate. Increasingly, I'm just aware of there being no separation. And when you're living in that space of unity, there's then nothing to hook into anymore. because the sovereignty self then starts to take over with more momentum. And I can even feel how that energy of the sovereign self is now blanketing and healing the wound of guilt, the wound of that very deep empath wound of like feeling like I should still say I'm sorry, I should still da 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 da, or I should still reach out. And I can feel how real the wound feels and how easily it could be to just go back and be like, oh, da da da, and like da da, and like make my little inner child feel better because so and so wasn't actually there in the first place, right? So instead of doing that, it's like, no, 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 sit a little bit deeper, sit a little bit longer. Oh, yeah, I'm not responsible for that person. You know, oh, yeah, if they want to reach out, if they have anything to say, they can. Like, oh, yeah, I don't have to just chase people, run circles around people, trying to placate whatever the fuck is going on. The thing is, for the empath, the issue here is that the majority of us are not gonna noodle it out with the person that we're chasing. That's the point. You know, it's smoke and mirrors. We're chasing our own wounding and we're never gonna find it in the other person. You know, certainly if we're on this path, if we're here to truly endeavor this transformation, it will be a series of lessons with people. I'm sorry to say that if that's annoying for people, but that is certainly my experience. We have to become detached even with other humans, even with humans that we love dearly. We have to be able to be detached and just compassionate, but without going into the like, like wanting to stretch out and reach out and hook into people again, because it's those separation wounds are like little holes in our soul that when they're empty, we're like, I want to like fill it up. But then like if you just sit there, like, and you'll find friends and activities and new things to do to slowly fill up those holes, then you'll feel better. And then you'll look back at the way you used to behave and be like, oh my god. Like, what the fuck? And then you'll see shades and veils as women walk by you or men walk by you, and you remember, you know, you remember what it felt like. You remember what it felt like to catch your reflection in the mirror and shame yourself, you know? I can pick up on all that stuff now. I can feel all of it with our fellow brothers and sisters, and it's profound, right? But again, I'm feeling like all of these continuous lessons for me as well has been like, just kind of perpetual ego death, to come into that purity of heart space from a place of like true humility and grace, because there's no healing other. There's only the projection of the self. So we can only really see the beauty and divinity in other, and yet we can only protect the self by following intuition and not making excuses for people's behavior, including our own. But we have to endeavor, and this is certainly my own teaching, we must endeavor the deeper depth of feeling to expand our perception and our awareness. If we don't go into those feelings of sadness, of pain, of suffering, of anger, whatever, then we can't see what's on the other side of them. And ultimately, what's on the other side of them is more of the truth of who we are, not the lies. We have to penetrate through those veils of fear and veils of limitation in order to break them down. It's the veils, the emotional, energetic veils from within us that are the binding attachments to the control system. And I know it seems much bigger than we are, but it isn't when you go within the self in deep and as deeply as you possibly can. Increasingly so, you regenesis, and then you can project out and notice the field that you're creating and have been creating all along. There again, when we live in denial, though, we can't access it. We can't see it. It's not available to us because we're still blinded by the attachment cords that we've got running, which, whether you call it karma, whether you call it past life, whether you call it multidimensionality, it doesn't really matter. It means there's aspects of your consciousness that you've put outside of yourself that you're bumping up against. Every judgment is a part of yourself you put outside. You didn't want to fucking seal, you know? And that's So this idea of catch and release, or, you know, a lot of these spiritual concepts people talk about, letting go. What's another one? Non-judgment, forgiveness. It doesn't end. It's not like one time you forgive. Yeah, maybe you have to forgive again. Maybe you have to forgive again. Maybe you have to forgive again. That's my practice. I'm like, I might do a whole forgiveness ceremony, and then 2 days fucking later, I'm like, fucking bitch. I'm like, I'm still holding grievance, and fine. But I'll just keep doing that, right? Because that's the practice. It's like being in that state of being, catch and release, catch and release. I don't want to be in a state of holding on. I don't want to be. Why? Because holding on is the absolute opposition to being free, to being totally one with all that is, to being the most high and the most low, but all that is creatorship, you know? So from that place of creatorship, why on earth would you hold on to anything if you already are all that you are? And if you already are all that you see? Why would you be like, ha, huh, huh, I have to hold on? Why? You have infinite of this, and infinite, you even have infinite of this if you want to. Right? No. Like coming alive. Being that creator, right? Oh, great. See, you guys are helping each other. I want to live in America. I'm reading your comments, you guys. What's kratom in Indonesia? Crispy. We are the children. What's this, Retardicus? White Widow OG in the hizzle, eh? Is that like the White Widow as in, you know what I mean? Oh, like, yeah, like the cannabis stuff. Susanna, I've been acquainted with many new souls who carry less karma and more light, who live in a better place. Yeah, same. So that's what I mean about some of the younger generations. But and this is the thing about some of the, like, my encounters with different generations and classes is like, this is how I started to really see, like, really, really, really not judging books by covers, because I could sense that, like, there are some people that would be considered some of the wealthiest people of the world, as in, like, yeah, like, they actually have, like, loads and loads and loads of cash. The amount that I'm just like, anyway. So, like, however, in my, like, paradigm shift awareness, I can feel the density. Hence tides turning, hence, like, shape-shifting this reality, is that I've met some of the people who are, like, holding on to all of it, and I can feel that I'm like, it's unstable. They know it. I can feel it. They can feel it. You know, like, I don't know what if it's 5 years or 20 years or what have you, but tides are turning. You know, like, that's just because certain families possess loads of the world's resources doesn't mean that's how it's going to be forever, right? And just because people seem to have lots doesn't mean they're wealthy. It doesn't mean they're, I don't mean wealthy in that sense, like, but I do mean abundant. Just because people have stuff doesn't mean they're abundant. And vice versa. Just because people don't have anything, they could be a very, very abundant person. Which is often where the manipulation comes in, my friends. People take advantage sometimes when you don't have, you know, certain social perceived. Although, no, I'm not even going there, MJ. I'm not even going there, because I'm like, it's all to do with the self. So let's just continue to empower the self to freedom, eh? Because I believe in all of you. Because that's in my favor too. It's in my favor to believe in all of you. You only need to plant a few seeds and nurture them. Are we talking about White Widow again? Or are we talking about manifestation? I'm not sure. I know. Well, last time I tried to grow that, there was like these tiny little white creatures that came along and ate it. Plus, I was living in an apartment, partying and destroying my life, so I wasn't in a place of nurture ultimately either. It's so weird when you have memory flashbacks because, like, it was so just the way at the time. You know? Spider mites, yeah. Like, it was just the way at the time. Like, at the time, I was like, look at me, I'm growing. Like, I was growing tomatoes. I lived in a pretty bad, like, I thought it was really cool apartment in Liverpool, like right in the city center above the oldest pubs in the city on Dale Street, and in an apartment that had like it was fairly open planish with like brick walls, as you know what I mean. It had that vibe going. Yeah, and it was really cool, and there was a balcony that looked down in the courtyard at like all these old school pubs. And I grew, and this is, you know, gosh, I was like 22 and studying at the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts. Partying like a champion of life and growing my herbs. But I grew loads. I grew like tomato, I grew spinach, lettuce, and then all the herbs like chives, basil, coriander, probably another couple. And then I was like, let's grow some marijuana plants. So I tried, and then when they got to about, like, you can't see, yay high, I went and checked on them, and they also had them, it's like the little white bugs went from the marijuana plant onto my basil plant. And you guys know me, I'm a vegan, so I, like, I just let them have it. I couldn't, like, I didn't know how to, I didn't have the heart to, like, kill these little white, like, so, I just let them have my marijuana plant. Because I don't think I was going to be able to, like, do anything with it, if you know what I mean. Plus, guys, don't do drugs. It's bad for you. So I'll tell you a little story about that, why my brain thinks the way it thinks about stuff like that. 2 different occasions. One was going to this is like heavy duty, literally. It was like between suicide or letting myself just smoke a bit of pot, because I was hardcore straight edge and flunking out of school because I was fucking suicidal and bulimic, and I was just like, I fucking hate life, and I can't deal. And I'm like 16 years old, and marijuana was just a bit of a break. Maybe 16, 17, a bit of a break. So I go into my chemistry class, like, stoned, and my bestie, one of my besties at the time, and she just had major knee surgery. Both of her parents were doctors, like, really beautiful family, like, one of those families that deep by heart is just like, you know. Anyway, so, she comes into chemistry. She can tell that I'm stoned, and she's like, Melly, like, you're stoned. You shouldn't be doing marijuana and coming to class. And I just remember looking at her, and I was like, so what pharmaceutical drugs have you taken for your knees today? And then she was just like, ooh, touche. She was totally non-judgy. Like, she was legit one of my besties, for sure. But, like, I called her out on that and was like, don't fucking sit there on your pharmaceutical medication and then poop on my face for being stoned on marijuana drug, okay? Like, and then about 5 years later, 5 years later, I moved to university in Vancouver, which I don't know if you guys know, some people call Vancouver Vansterdam because it's pretty known for being, like, and now, God, what am I even saying? Like, the most of North America has actually legalized the plant for various consumption ways, so it's not even, like, a thing. But way back when, so this would have been, like, 2001 or whatevs, and I probably finished my first year of university after having my awakenings and then going off the deep end and partying like a rock star. But it was never fun. Remember that. It was never fun. It was just like living in the shadows, crying and surrendering all the time, but then trying to be like, yeah, party girl. Like, what that? So I'm in this sort of yuppie neighborhood, which is between the center of Vancouver and the university campus. And it's called Kitsilano. So I moved to Kitsilano, this tiny little basement apartment, living under the rule of like some people. And I as I did so often, I wasn't drinking. I had to take some time off drinking because I probably almost killed myself the last time I got drunk. So I was like, I think I really need to like stop doing this thing. So I went out with a group of friends and they went to the pubs and I was like, shit, like I really don't want to have a drink. So I just went to one of the tables and was like, hey guys, do you by any chance have any marijuana I could buy? And these people, I remember them so vividly. There were like 3 people, probably a little bit older than me at the time, because I would have been like 19, right? 19, 20, like, hey, do you have any pot? And I just remember them looking up at me and being like, we don't do drugs. And they just like looked away and I was like, but you're drinking alcohol. Like, so I had many of those experiences, and I even with the thing with the smoking and the slaughtering of the creatures and stuff like that, I'm like, it's all killing. I don't know why, like, as in my justification sometimes for doing things that society deems as evil is that I'm like, oh my god, the whole entire systematic function is fucking disgusting, and slave people and like killing the world. And I'm like, but let's go around pointing fingers at each other for not being the almighty saints that we're all supposed to be. I'm like, what the fuck? I totally have been rambling, you guys. I heard in my head, so I should apologize. I'm like, no, you don't need to apologize for being yourself. No, you don't, I'm like, I'm getting these random flashes of just how intense our enslavement patterning is, and then how shamed we are for feeling all these feelings, and then how disconnected people are from feeling the feelings and being able to discern what the feelings are, right? And I'm getting this such hardcore sense of like how much love had vibrashe for the men, as far as like the conditions and how much pain there is and we women also can assist with the healing of this, but like there's so much backlog pain in like the male collective, as far as like, I know we tell the story of like male domination, but in the truth is the story of humanity. That is one of the biggest like divisive divide conquer tactics ever, is to split up the men and women and make men go to war. But like, think about the wounding that the collective of men would be carrying from ages of the war cycles, right? And like, we're the ones feeling it. Imagine how it feels in their trauma state, right? So it's like there's very much an impact of holy grace that the feminine has to hold for, I'm getting emotional now, for the men to clear, for the men to release the wounding of the generations gone past, right? Because there's been yeah, mass slaughter when it comes to innocence on the planet. So again, here we go to this share. The deeper we go, the more we expand. The deeper we go, the more sense we have of the self that we are, in the fullness that we are, the universal gods and goddesses that we are, not the limited flesh and bones of a control and domination system. And we are rising, and we do know this to be true. It's just probably on the physical a little bit more intense than we could have had. Certainly by how the program taught us. Just get very healthy. So yeah, we're getting bombarded by these fucking cosmic shockwaves. No wonder we're all vomiting all over each other. Shitting and vomiting all over each other. Like, we're disgusting. Like, yeah. I mean, it's not the self that's disgusting, it's none of it is inherently disgusting. It's just, I mean, to me, certainly what's a little ick is going around pretending that we're not all connected. That is what's kind of like troubling, and always has been, violence and slaughter and stealing and raping and pillaging and hoarding, it doesn't feel good. Something feels really seriously wrong with it all. And I was thinking about getting into the acting industry after my awakenings and how and why it would never work. And it's because I could see beyond the veil. I wasn't watching actors perform. I was watching people act out their pain body, masking it with some ego bullshit, playing some game of self-importance with one another. And it's all just fucking bullshit coming out of one's mouth to try to prove that they don't feel unworthy. And I knew I was feeling unworthy. I knew in my body how sick I felt. Even though people might have thought you looked great or you blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I hate my existence. And I know this isn't it. And that's kind of, for so many on the transformational path, that's what happens. The getting on the knees is about, is the depth of our suffering that we can contain in any lifetime. So we have to penetrate that depth to rise it out. And so I just feel sometimes like people just maybe don't go deep enough. I feel okay. There could be shifting energy there. I get that as well. That's only come up for me, the heart palpitations, probably in the last 4 years. And occasionally, not on a regular thing. I actually feel like it's usually just the heart working, like shifting energy, working stuff out. Or there's a upgrade in the rhythm. It's really the love. I know it's all sounds so, whatevs, but it really is the love that is bombarding the field. Hence why I can get images sometimes, but when I see it, that's why it's the reversal, and why when you're on the journey, you start to notice it even more. Is that everything that we experience in the here and now is a pushing through of past patterns and energy. It's not happening to us. It's the effect of us bringing the love forward out into the world, and then it's bringing its back, right? Yeah, through us. So the love, and you could say it's the solar waves or just the energetic activity, right? So that energy is in us and all around us. We've chosen this path. Hence why we've gone through all the suffering. It has to do with our ability to ground it in the body. All the suffering has been for us to remember who we are, so that when we can ground in the light force, it's like it just permeates like infinitely through us, right? And it's through us that it's like when you imagine the light shining, it's the anything blocking the light is where it's purging. So you have a full light being coming into its divination state. Anything blocking its full manifestation of divine, it's going to be felt on the way out. The fear, the lack, the not enough, the I'm control, I'm blah, 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 right? So for sure, it's just energy. It's no going back to default setting. Everything in our awareness is shifting into a new paradigm now. So there's no going back to the same default understanding of what's happening in our physical apparatus. All of it has to be discerned from within the self, because we're all unique vessels. And that's part of the big deception as well. We've all been programmed to believe in conformity and believe that we're the same, and we're not. There's likely to be certain threads. So living from the heart means, yeah, we're not stealing from each other, but we don't have to tell each other what to do. And I feel sometimes that's partly why I rub people the wrong way. In people's reactivity, they feel that my knowing of self is somehow an arrogance, like I know it all or something like that. And in my awareness, I don't know anything really. And I don't care to know anything. At the same time, I don't want to live in fear of expressing who I am. I don't think anybody should. I don't think anybody should live in fear of being who they are and expressing themselves in the fear and the darkness and the light and the love. I don't want to live in that world. you know? And I think that when we can actually express ourselves, we're much healthier beings, right? And because I don't want to have to dominate. It's too fucking much hard work, right? The truth is, control and domination, that's why it's killing us. It's destroying us because it doesn't work. It's not functional, you know? It's like certain forms of exercise aren't actually functional. Not knowing is the greatest intimacy. Right, you're intimate with the divine void, which is the one, that is that precipice of trust that we have to hit up against. Please, oh my gosh, divine sight. And I didn't share this with you yesterday, but I just, for some reason, like, I love my music and blah, 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 but I'm not like a muso. I think I got teased a lot for my music preferences when I was little, and so I kind of went off of it, thinking that I just don't have good taste or something. Anyway, I don't buy into that. However, I don't go looking for music, and so when you were sharing some music with me yesterday, I was like, yes! Like, I manifested, because I used to date a musician, and so he used to kind of bring music into my reality, and much that I loved, and the last few years it's not, you know, come back in, and so I've lost my music input, and then you were sharing it, and I was like, yeah, yeah, like, I found another music person who can share your music love with me, which is going to align, and it's also going to expand my vibrations a bit, because when I allow other people to bring the music to me, I feel like it just adds to my world, and like I don't have to go find it or anything, it just comes in. So yes, please, basically, yes, please, I would love to have a soundtrack to my road trip from Divine Sight. So I'm getting it all sorted. Leon helped me get the car ready. We've got I got my European safety kit. It's really amazing, like, alignment and living on the flow, and like how things just naturally and harmoniously get done. Naturally, harmoniously, and like you do have to do stuff, and you do have to like manifest and percolate and shit, but actually like it's all there. And I'm also amazed at how, like, I don't know, yeah, just the travel piece, the freedom piece, and like journeying, you know what I mean? Journeying, like I'm just journeying now, and it's just like, holy shit balls, I made it, life is great. I don't have to go back to the past, none of us do. You know, we don't have to go back and help the people that like destroyed us. But there's no grievance as well, and this is something I know that's why you guys really like feel me, is like there's legit no grievance. Like, I'm so freaking thankful for the people in my life, all of them, like, so much. I'm like, oh my god, I've learned so much at this point. I'm only 37, you guys, in the body of a 25-year-old. No, if you look up close you can see the wrinkles, but that's fine. Anyway, no, shh, I'm infinite and younger than ever, and like, we are ageless goddesses of the hot love vibration. Teehee. Chris, are you 23? Oh, 23. I'm 23. Yeah. Well, yeah, 23, I remember being a really significant year for me. If I'd left university and kept following my flow, but it continued to be, but I did not. I fell back into the system because I wanted to stay in the country. Oh, you're lucky. Activating our crystal bodies. Yeah, for shizzles. I'm 54. Andrea, I never would have known that. I can't sense it, though. I've never been able to sense age. I remember when I went to India and hung out with international folk from all over the world doing yoga, literally couldn't tell. I'm like, I don't know, are you 22? And they're like, 45. I'm like, oh, no way. But then obviously it would happen the other way. We're like, I don't know. Like, some people would be like, I don't know, are you like 35? I'm like, I'm 28. I'm 28. Like, I was in India 27 turning 28. And I remember meeting people. I don't know, I must have been going through some shaz, which I definitely was. But yeah, people were like, 30, 37, 41. I'm like, I'm fucking 28. Like, don't age me, moflo lovers. God! Although, something weird has happened in the last few years, like, since 33 and taking this next leap and, like, publishing the book and doing all the online shaznaz. Especially, but maybe it's just the Balinese, because let's be honest, if you've ever been to Bali, there's just beautiful, beautiful people. And like, and whenever I get my like feet massage or I go to a massage and like all the lovely girls are like, hello madam, and then they're like, how old do you think I am? They're like, oh, I don't know, 25, 24. And you're like, that's right, girls, that's right, that's what you tell Molly every time. What am I talking about? Why am I talking about this, you guys? Like, gee whiz, who cares? I'm nearly 49, the body of an 18-year-old boy. Yeah, Verdoos. I don't even notice the body as much anymore, but I'm happy in it, and that's like a big thing. I'm happy in it, and I don't have to like micromanage it, which is juicy. I just like, now I'm doing downward dog. Now I'm eating an apple. Now I'm live on YouTube. Now I'm talking to friends. Now I'm lying down and crying. Like, that's pretty much my existence. And I have a timeline up to like, I know for a fact that I've booked myself a ferry to, and then I'm driving to Portugal, and then I also have a ferry to drive me back, as in like, or I'm booked on the ferry to come back to England. Like, that's my plan. So, but I'm excited about it. I'm stoked about it. I love you guys, by the way. I'm so happy that you're here with me when you're here with me. It's like a dream come true, as far as like just having a group of, I'm hearing in my mind for some reason, just having a group of Rastas to hang out with. I mean, come on, this is legit awesome. I'm like, when we do actually hang out, I'm sure we'll have some like sweet ass reggae playing, or Divine Sight will be our little DJ, or Chris can be our DJ, whoever, one of you I'm sure did DJing. And yeah, oh, and Leon can supply the sound system, and we'll just get together, have some fire going. Maybe we can start, or I can restart a little like festival. Maybe not, it's quite hard work. Organizing things, but we'll give it a go. Like, this is so fun because I can just like chill and show up, and I feel like I'm just like having my wake up coffee with my besties at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, what? My mom's like, honey, it's getting earlier and earlier. Like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't know. LOL, it is hard work, right? Like, it's hard. It's one of those things where when you're one of those people who used to literally believe she has to do everything on her own, like, holy shit, life is really tough. Increasingly over the years, now that I accept more help from people, life is substantially easier and more fun. Because I don't like cry in the darkness every day because I'm taking on so much shit from everybody, you know, and like trying to keep going. I'm like, holy shit, just ask for fucking help, MJ. And yeah, and so things are more fun and a lot easier when there's people, and so there could very well be a festival. Yeah. There could very well be a festival on the horizon for All to Love, because I did one with a friend of mine in 2015, and it was pretty fun. It was just like a 24-hour shindig. I did all like the yoga and organizing, but it's hard work, you know, and I wouldn't say hard work, it's work. Like, you have to put the graft in and to organize it, and then you have to like ideally sell tickets. And look at this, I'm like, hey guys, let's hang out. But this is not what it looks like. This is just some ballo. Oh, my car's getting collected today, you guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, VW Finance. Fair enough, Renee. I wasn't paying them anyway, so like, you can have your car back. And I got to say, and Leon will testify, my new car is actually way better. My new car is like borderline luxury vibrashe, and it's quite large as well. Thank you, Elliot. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna shoot off. I just had a couple thoughts went through my mind, and I realized it would be much too crude to speak them aloud. What am I showing off to? Marco Colapelli. Crispy, super intense city. It's what we called the tent city. Oh, I was a mirror. My new home on wheels, exactamundo. Hi, Marco. I didn't see you there, my friend. I do apologize. We get wings. Yeah, well, I have my ethereal wings, in fairness. My ethereal angel wings often protect me when I go into places like Tesco's and like unsacred geometric buildings that dumb you down, basically. I'm sure I've shared this with you guys before, but like I like expand my angel wings like and like before I go into the actual shop or hospital or school or whatever, I like protect myself with my angelic wings. Mainly so I don't buy more than what I'm intending to buy, because part of the unsacred geometry is the fact that you get dumbed down, which is why you go into those shops thinking, I'm just gonna buy myself a coffee, and you come out with 2 fucking grocery bags. Why? Because you're fucking desensitized in the lights, and it's all psychologically maneuvered to be like, to literally make us mindless shopping drones. So protect yourself. Protect yourself with your angel wings, yo. And it's just fun. It's like one of you guys I shared with like how I cope with when I go to big cities and if I'm getting drained by the masses, I then literally go into my light bubble, like boom, 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 like hardcore meditation, get the light going, expand the light all the way around the cities, the tube, the everywhere. So suddenly I'll be like, I'm a light being. And eventually, and then I'll usually take myself out of that vortex because it's troubling, or it's like, thing is, you have to focus, right? You're focusing hard on being the beam of light and expanding the beam of light elsewhere. So usually after a jaunt of that, to not get swept into the like darkness of people's exhaustion, yeah, you retreat, you go home, you do shit like this, you clear yourself. Oh, nice. I love that, Chris. Everyone was mayor. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, new paradigm leadership is like, can you just lead yourselves? Like, if it's absolutely necessary, you can come to me for some noodling, you know? But, like, otherwise, just crack on. Eat what you want to eat. Do what you want to do. Play with who you want to play with. Shag who you want to shag. You're just, you know, in your integrity. Just be in your integrity, my loves. Make sure we're not obsessing or, you know, sexualizing each other. That's really important. Okay, came through a couple days ago. It didn't make me feel nice, so I just want to be mindful of that in our heart love. That we're not putting things on each other, you know, and or assuming that, you know, it's amazing to me. No, you're not. No, you're not, Divine Sight. You're not my boss. None of you guys are my bosses, and I don't want to be your bosses either. Right? Oh yeah, because this is like another sideline note of like staying anchored in your present reality. This is something as well that I'm like very aware of in the spiritual awakening journey. It's like all of the social media stuff is fun, but make sure we also stay very anchored in our real-time reality, right? Like, how's life? How's the human connections? How are the friend connections? How's the working life? How's the da-da-da? Like, the finance, the da-da-da, looking at all the other areas in our physical, present, here-now life and addressing the things that need to be addressed. And making sure that we're not getting too swept up in the illusion and or fantasy and or obsession of whatever we're engaging with externally. Because I've noticed that in some dealings with energy, you know. So you guys, I think that's it for today. Have a beautiful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. And yeah, I think MJ's oh, you guys. This is so true, isn't it? Like the talking stick. Before early it was sage or Sampalo. Then I'm like turning it into a cigarette. And now I'm like, I'm talking now, guys. Shh. It's funny, like, I had a moment of, like, really feeling that, like, everyone just went settling down, right? Andrea, really great to see you here. So basically, we're all just divine and in love with self and life because it's the same thing. You guys have a beautiful day, night, celebration. Love yourself, love the whole self, all the self and nothing but the self, so help you. And I have so much love and appreciation for you. Target is better. I love this like random insert. You guys, by the way, Target is better than Walmart for sure. Boycott Walmart, moflos. Walmart. As much of the corp, the big monopoly corps that we can boycott, the better. I don't know, there's got to be loads, right? Starbucks, McDonald's, and Walmart, and most of the food companies, Monsanto and Nestle, and, you know. I also like to have toilet paper as well. Yeah. I boycott where possible. I'm not as aware, maybe up on it as some people are, you know? Yeah, that is critical. Sasha does talk about this in that Spirituality Simplified interview that I shared. He talks about like the optimal consumption patterns for us so that we boycott those strongholds, because again, that's a stronghold of energy siphoning. If we can boycott that siphoning energy, it falls off like a parasite. Okie dokie, my friends, love you loads. Feel free to book a tarot reading with me, you guys. How cool is this, Leon? And then there's someone else here that's sending me some tarot cards, so it's clearly like par for the path at this point. But it's amazing when you live on flow, because like I never saw the tarot coming. It just like it was happening, and then I was like, oh. And then everyone that's booked a private reading so far has said they were like spot on, which I'm just like, oh wow. Lakshmi, thank you. Yeah, you have a gift. Yeah, like I never knew. And then it just was happening, and then people actually paid for the service, and they were like, this is great, this is spot on. I'm like, wowzers, beautiful, lovely, thank you, universe, for showing me that. Didn't see it coming. But there you go, just keep trusting and flowing, right? Totally. Chewbacca. I ever want to say Chewbacca, Sasquatch. I want to, like, there's a song there with the Chewbacca vibrations in there. And then I obviously think of doing magic mushrooms with Jack Black in a forest. Sasquatch. Isn't there a song about the Sasquatch? A long as fucking time ago in a town called Kickapoo lived a Tumbo family, religious through and through. Below there was a black sheep and he knew just what to do. I don't know if you guys ever do that. We're getting a card, Divine Sight, you gorgeous, gorgeous rock star. This is all we need, okay? I love the colors that are happening on the screen right now, like the purple, pink, and then like the blue and the, yes. Own it. Own it. All of us need to own this today, you guys. We are successful, okay? Ride the tiger. Was this a song? Ride it up, safer to sit I don't know the words clearly, but like, do do do, this is that the right song, you guys? Ride a tiger. I don't. So, you guys, today, rising up. Feeling I'll see. Fuck it. So this is also why we need to hang out. We need to share the music and like party our Eye of the Tiger. Rising up into the anyway, I'm gonna look it up because now it's not actually bothering because I know that's a song, but I literally can't place it at all. So today is the card of success, which I'm pretty chuffed about. I'm taking it. I'm gonna take the win at whatever time it is. It's like 2 in the morning, okay? But yeah, We're gonna take the win. Let's just have a successful day, night, sleep, life, share that success all around, be happy for our brothers and sisters in their success, and claim our own as well. We deserve it, you guys. I have so much love for you, so much appreciation, like mega, 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 mega. And yeah, just wishing you lots of love. And I'll see you guys on the flippity floppity very, very soon indeed, right? Take care, you guys. Peace out. Have an awesome night.